This video has been funded in part by the Guild via Patreon. Check out the links in the description or at the end of this video for more details. Hello everyone, my name is Gildart, and hey, welcome to Expanded, a new series where I take a look at downloadable content to let you know if they are worth it. I plan on covering a lot of Warriors DLC in this series, so if there's something specific you'd like to hear me talk about, leave a comment below, and while you're down there, you might as well give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Today we're taking a look at the Dynasty Warriors 7 DLC pack for Battle of Guan, a remade stage of the Dynasty Warriors 5 iteration with assets from Dynasty Warriors 7. I am really excited to start things off with this stage because Guand is such an iconic battle. It's appeared in every Dynasty Warriors entry to date, and I would argue that the Dynasty Warriors 5 stage is a very memorable one, which is probably why they recreated it for Dynasty Warriors 7. This is the battle between Yuan Shao and Cao Cao. It was practically the defining moment in history that solidified Cao Cao as a man of power and ambition. After Guand, we can really see the rise and formation of Wei, but the forces of Yuan Shao and Cao Cao weren't the only ones that would fight in this battle. Liu Bei and his brothers would find themselves on the battlefield at Guand, but not together. Guan Yu had separated from his brothers during the previous battle and was hired by Cao Cao with the agreement that once Liu Bei was found, he could leave. Liu Bei and Zhang Fei found themselves in the service of Yuan Shao, so they were fighting on opposite sides. They do find each other thanks to this battle though. But that's enough of a history lesson. Let's talk about how this stage appears in Dynasty Warriors 5. There are 8 playable characters that appear in this stage: Cao Cao, Cao Pi, Xiahou Dun, Guan Yu, Zheng He, Zhen Ji, Yuan Shao, and Liu Bei. Out of these 8, 7 have this stage in their story mode playthroughs. Liu Bei is the only character that appears in this stage but does not have this stage in his story. Dynasty Warriors 5 is also really well known for its mid-stage events. If you play as Liu Bei in the free mode, there's no special events or conversations. Like when you play, Guan Yu just kills Yan Liang and Wen Chou and's like, peace out fam. Essentially, no matter who you play as, the battle kind of goes in the same direction. On Cao Cao's side, you secure the forces in Guand and Bai Ma. Either yourself or Guan Yu will take out Yan Liang and Wen Chou and slowly whittle down the enemy numbers. Archer towers will appear in front of Guand, and eventually Yuan Shao will call for supplies and Wu Chao will open. You attack Wu Chao, Yuan Shao's army demoralizes, Zheng He defects, and then you take out Yuan Shao himself. On Yuan Shao's side, you will slowly whittle down Cao Cao's numbers. Guan Yu kills Wen Chou and Yan Liang unless you kill him right away. Archer towers appear in front of Guand. Yuan Shao calls for supplies from Wu Chao. Zheng He goes to defend it, and you can too. If you do, you will demoralize Cao Cao's army, similar to attacking it, and then you'll defeat Cao Cao. There's a couple of character-specific events that will play out depending on which character you choose, but they don't affect the overall outcome of the story progression of the stage. In Dynasty Warriors 7's version, everything plays out the exact same. It's actually really cool. When Wu Chao opens up, the green ripples that indicate a mission will tell you to go there. The only thing missing from this stage are those events. It's really unfortunate because these events would look so good in the Dynasty Warriors 7 engine. This is why I took the liberty of playing this stage as Cao Pi and spliced in these story events from Dynasty Warriors 7 into the DLC stage. This video can be found on my second channel. And hey, did you know I have a second channel? It's called Gildart Gameplay, and I'll be posting gameplay videos and random other things like that. So go subscribe because I'll also be uploading random gameplay footage from future videos too. Now, even though everything plays out in the same order as the original, I do find everything just happens so much faster in Dynasty Warriors 7. Even with a 3rd level weapon on easy, this stage still takes me 20-ish minutes to finish in Dynasty Warriors 5. But with Dynasty Warriors 7, this takes me a little over 10 minutes and I still hit all the beats. In fact, in Dynasty Warriors 5, it is a rare occurrence for Yuan Shao to charge out of his main camp from the top left. But literally every single time I played the DLC stage in Dynasty Warriors 7, it happened. As well, because of how fast everything happens when playing on Cao Cao's side and I go to attack Wu Chao, Zheng He gets there every time and I end up killing him before he can defect. This very fast pace of the way that the stage plays out also creates a level of difficulty that isn't in most stages in Dynasty Warriors 7. Even on easy, this can be a difficult stage. But I will let you know that I've found by playing this stage about a dozen times, victory relies heavily on on Wu Chao. If you're playing on Cao Cao's side, your morale is much lower than Yuan Shao's army starting out. So if you don't take Wu Chao as quickly as possible, your allies will get rushed very easily. As well, on Cao Cao's side, there are two areas that you need to make sure you protect. Both Guand Castle, where Guojia is, and Bai Ma, where Cao Cao is. As soon as you capture Wu Chao, you can rush out and protect those areas and you'll claim victory pretty easily. If you're playing on Yuan Shao's side, even though you start with more morale, losing Wu Chao will cause a lot of bad things to happen. Okay, I get it! Unlike Dynasty Warriors 5, when you play the Dynasty Warriors 7 DLC and some of the important characters get low on health, they will fully heal and get a 2x in defense and attack. I only had this happen on Cao Cao's side when fighting Yan Liang, Wen Chou, Zhang He, Chun Yu Qiang, Zhen Ji, and Yuan Shao. I do like this though because it just gives those characters more oomph when you're fighting them. It really implies their importance in this battle. Another thing that's missing are the voice lines. These lines are completely different from the Dynasty Warriors 5 version of the stage. The lines that are used in the Dynasty Warriors 7 DLC are actually taken from the base game. These lines were already recorded for another purpose. But because these lines were taken from the story, instead of re-recording the old lines, you get some weird situations. When the catapults appear in Guand Castle, the foot soldiers call it some kind of beast. When Guan Yu retreats after finding Liu Bei and killing Yan Liang and Wen Chou, it sounds like he's responding to someone else, but no one spoke to him before. They probably could have cut some of the words out of that line just to make it better. Then there's the fact that when Yan Liang and Wen Chou are killed in Dynasty Warriors 5, Yuan Shao retaliates against Cao Cao for their death. But in Dynasty Warriors 7, he kinda just throws shade at Cao Cao. Something they did do perfectly though is the officer placement. I compared the Dynasty Warriors 7 DLC to its original and literally everybody is accounted for. And this time around, Jia Xu is playable. And if you bought the DLC for Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends, Guojia is playable too. One thing I do like is how Zhang Fei does not appear in this stage in Dynasty Warriors 5 alongside Liu Bei, but the generic officer is with him just like in the original version of the stage. The only thing about this is that he does wear yellow instead of green like the original. To go back to something that's not perfect, no matter who you play as, you will start from the same spot every time. When you're playing on Cao Cao's side, you'll always start in the bottom right, and on Yuan Shao's side, you'll start in the middle left. It's almost like the DLC was made for you to play as Guan Yu or Zhen Ji because that's where they start in Dynasty Warriors 5. Now, the moment you've probably been waiting for, let's talk about how this stage looks. The layout of the original Dynasty Warriors 5 stage, like I said earlier, is absolutely iconic. Guand to the south, Bai Ma to the east, Yuan Shao's main camp to the northwest, Wu Chao in the center. I know this stage like the back of my hand at this point, and I am happy to say that the feeling of the original stage is kept alive here. Everything is placed exactly where it should be. The officer placement on the map also helps this feeling of nostalgia. But when you get into the finer details, some of these things are a little off. First off, every base now is designed like a defense base. The defense captains don't drop defense +1. Instead, they drop items like meat buns or wine. The base captains around the map drop defense +1, similar to Dynasty Warriors 2 and 3. They also appear as officers on the map, but are not in the list of officers, which is kinda weird. There are lieutenants that drop stat increases as well, so it's not like you're gonna go without the additional boost. Speaking of additional boosts, Dynasty Warriors 7 does not have the Muso wine that gives your character +10 to max Muso. This is because you just have 2 Muso bars that you can get by purchasing the skill in your character's skill tree. In Dynasty Warriors 5, there are 2 vases in Wu Chao, one with a Muso wine and one with an elixir. In the Dynasty Warriors 7 DLC, there is only 1 vase, and although it does give you an elixir, it would have been nice to give us a dim sum as a reference to the Muso wine in the original version. Going back to the layout of the stage, when you go to any of the major camps like Bai Ma, Guand or Yuan Shao's main camp in the top left, they are much more claustrophobic than before. Guand feels so much tighter, mostly because the catapults in Dynasty Warriors 7 are too big to be placed along the walls like in the original. But there's no archer towers in the center of the castle. This is the only part of the camp that actually feels less claustrophobic. Bai Ma has a lot of these wooden fences that just make it feel closed in, but not nearly as much as Yuan Shao's main camp. Mixing the tents with these wooden fences just makes it feel so tight. Not nearly as open as its Dynasty Warriors 5 counterpart. But Dynasty Warriors 5 and 7 are not the only games to get this version of Guand. We also get it in Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires and Warriors Orochi 2. In Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires, we also get the opportunity to play as the characters that became playable in Dynasty Warriors 7, Jia Xu, and Guojia. Can you guess which one I'm playing playing as here, you have a 50-50 chance. In Warriors Orochi 2, it's the final stage of Wei's story where Wei teams up with Nobunaga to fight Orochi X. This is the main reason why I know this stage like the back of my hand. This was such a great stage to grind out proficiency increases because of the number of enemy troops and officers. Because it appears here, it also appears in Muso Orochi Z, where you can take advantage of the 4th costumes and play through this stage with the characters in their Dynasty Warriors 6 outfits and using their Dynasty Warriors 5 movesets. The only real plus to playing this stage in Dynasty Warriors 5 and 5 Empires is that you can use the alternate colors. Genji's yellow outfit looks great here because she's on Yuan Shao's side for this stage. The only game that you can do this on past Dynasty Warriors 5 and Warriors Orochi 2 is in Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate thanks to the color editor, which you can find some gameplay of Genji, Yuan Shao, and Xiang He in their Dynasty Warriors 5 alternate outfits over on my gameplay channel, Gildart Gameplay. But knowing that we can play this across so many consoles, I thought it would be a good idea to show you all the differences between them. Using Cao Cao as the common factor, here is what it looks like in the PS2 standing in the center of Guand Castle and looking out. Keep in mind that I am forcing a 480p resolution with Free McBoot and upscaling to 1080p with the M Classic. Moving on to what I've been using for most of the Dynasty Warriors 5 footage this video is the original Xbox, which is natively outputting 480p over component cables and being upscaled with the M Classic as well. Next up is Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires on 360, which is natively outputting 1080p over HDMI. Then, staying with the 360, here is the native 1080p of Dynasty Warriors 7's version of Guand. You can see the lack of archer towers here. And finally, here's Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends, which is natively outputting 720p and being upscaled to 1080p with the M Classic. This is what I've used for most of the DLC gameplay footage. But to show you the big differences, here's the original Xbox, then back to the PS3, now back to the PS2. Some pretty nice differences in the gameplay, and it honestly does look really good in the Dynasty Warriors 7 engine. One thing that I will say is that it's disappointing we got this specifically for Dynasty Warriors 7 and not Dynasty Warriors 8. Though they brought over the old outfits from Dynasty Warriors 3 through 6 in Dynasty Warriors 8, they did not bring over any of the remade stages. I say this because Cao Pi has his old weapon back. It may be a different moveset, but it would have looked sick in this stage. Plus, the gameplay video that I made on my second channel would have looked much better with this. On top of having Cao Pi's weapon, we could go from the PS3 graphics to the PS4 graphics and have so much more of a boost to the way this version of Guand looks. But that being said, Guand still looks good in the Dynasty Warriors 7 engine, and the clash between Yuan Shao and Cao Cao is so great to have in this game. But wait, there's more! Not only do we get to replay this classic stage on both Cao Cao and Yuan Shao's forces, there is a third stage that comes with this package, and it's on Lu Bu's side. Yes, Lu Bu, along with Diao Chen, Zhang Liao, and 2 generic officers, crash the battle and take on both Cao Cao and Yuan Shao at the same time. If you like the power fantasy type stages where it's just you and maybe a couple of allies against a map of red, this stage will be perfect for you. Just like the other 2 forces, no matter who you pick, you'll start from the north of Bai Ma, which is kind of weird because your allies start just to the south of it. This is very reminiscent of the exact same thing happening in Dynasty Warriors 6. The only thing that makes it a little bit more fun in Dynasty Warriors 6 is that it's a 3-way battle. In Dynasty Warriors 7, both Cao Cao and Yuan Shao's forces are red, so they don't fight against each other. I think this would have been so much better as a 3-way battle, but I don't remember any 3-way battles being in Dynasty Warriors 7, which is probably why it's not that way here. I imagine this game wasn't programmed to have those, but you can kind of recreate it by giving everyone Dynasty Warriors 6 costumes. But this not being a 3-way battle makes it perfect for grinding. Neither side will fight against each other, leaving your army to be the only one to take them all out. I played this stage on novice difficulty and still got +8 drops from all the named officers and +4s from the generics. Also, I don't know why, but the base captains were dropping +4 defense for Diao Chen when I was playing as her. Even if you're not able to recreate this, with the base captains, the Battle of Guan on Lu Bu's side is perfect if you need to beef up a character to take on those titles to unlock the Celestial outfits. And if you really want to, you can recreate this third stage in Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires in free mode. And with that, I've covered literally everything there is to talk about this DLC pack. It doesn't cost much at all, so I would say it's worth every penny. That being said, I would have paid twice this, if not 3 times this, just to have those events recreated in the Dynasty Dynasty Warriors 7 engine, and to have the new voice actors re-record the classic lines from Dynasty Warriors 5. But all in all, this is a solid experience. Similar to my PVC mini reviews, I'm not going to give it a score. I'm either going to tell you to buy it, wait for it to go on sale, or just leave it be. In this case, I think you already know I'm telling you to buy this DLC. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for watching my pilot episode for Expanded. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe for more. What DLC pack should I review next? Leave a comment below, and if I choose your suggestion, you will get a shout out at the beginning of that video. This was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to jump back into another one. And hey, why don't you also go check out my second channel where you'll find gameplay clips and other stuff. If you'd like to help support this channel and what I do here, you can join the Guild, just like these awesome people that you're seeing on screen right now. You can join them at the end of every single video for just $1 a month. There's other rewards and other tiers as well, so check out the links that you see on screen, and I will see you all down in the comments.